crystals.
Absolutely not. And it's amazing, I get a lot of flack, just as you do, I'm sure, from people who say, well, yes, it really is ice crystals, and they try and justify it. And, of course, they can make a pretty interesting case until you start looking into the details, which we don't want to go into all that now. Just common sense tells you that these are not ice crystals. And, of course, the proof of the pudding is that you measure what's coming out of the sky. I mean, there's stuff coming out of the sky, and you can catch it in rainwater, you can catch it in the snow, and these fellows have been around the world, as you mentioned, and they're talking to researchers who've done exactly that. One interesting case was up in Mount Shasta area, where, my gosh, you can't think of a more pristine area than that. It's hundreds of miles away from any industrial area, so you can't say, well, this is just smoke coming out from the smokestacks or something like that. And they went up to the snow caps on top of Mount Shasta, and that's supposed to be about as pure water as you can find anywhere in the world. And they tested it, and lo and behold, there's aluminum in it, aluminum and barium. Now, there's not supposed to be any aluminum and barium falling out of the sky. It's supposed to be zero. But what did they find? Well, it's interesting that the EPA has a measurement that triggers an alert. You have to do something if there's as many as 1,000 parts per billion of aluminum in water. So what did they find up there? 60,000 parts per billion in pristine snow water. Well, and that's 60, what is that? That's 60 times greater than the level that requires government action.
And you've got the test all over California, Hawaii, other areas that are even higher than that.
Yeah, pristine areas, Hawaii. I mean, what's going on in Hawaii? There's no reason for aluminum and barium and strontium to be falling from the sky in Hawaii. So anyway, you can argue until you're blue in the face about these are contrails or these are ice crystals, but the proof really is in what is falling from the sky. So that's I think where we should focus rather than this issue of chem versus contrails.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, Aaron Dykes was up here late last night, but if he's here now, will you guys bring me the big blue folder? Because next hour, I want to go over our research. I mean, I'm not waiting until my film comes out next year. I've seen your film. It's excellent. It covers a lot of key facets that are admitted and then gets into some of the things that are being discovered. But I want to actually show people the patents, the admissions. If you search the terms, there are thousands of universities, Department of Energy, the Pentagon. They're all up there, quote, doing testing. They call it testing, but now for the public, they're coming out and saying, oh, we're about to start testing. And people 15 years ago, when I was first covering this with experts who'd gotten samples, they were saying aluminum dioxide, barium salts. Then magically, what does the White House science czar say? Magically, what do all these big scientific journals say? We want to spray aluminum dioxide, barium salts in the atmosphere to create nuclei to block out the sun to protect us from global warming. It's exactly what researchers said 15 years ago, like Mr. Carnicom and so many others, exactly what Jim Keith said 15 years ago, and they killed him. I mean, it's just all right there. And so we've gone from being laughed at. I mean, I remember being on the radio in 1996, people saying, what is this with these trails? It's the summer. They're at like 5,000 feet. They're persistent. It makes me sick when they hit me. I mean, before people were even calling them chemtrails, people were talking about this.
Well, yeah, the evidence has been there, as you said, for at least 15 years. And it's just amazing to me how so many of my associates never noticed. I mean, the sky is covered with these crisscrossing trails, horizon to horizon, and by mid-afternoon it's milky gray, and it's coming down. You can see sometimes it just sort of streaks down. You can feel it in your lungs. People are complaining about having congested lungs. People are getting analysis and finding these chemicals in their hair, in their fingernails, in their bloodstream, chemicals at high levels that aren't supposed to be there. And I noticed all my friends look up and say, chemtrails? Chemtrails? What chemtrails? I mean, my gosh, it's just amazing. I guess it's a modern phenomenon. We live in big cities. We don't look up because normally you can't see the sky anyway. It's tall buildings everywhere you go. But it's just amazing how people are in denial and say, well, oh, yeah, I see those. Well, there's something wrong with those. I don't know. I guess they never looked at the sky before. But I think what it is that there's a tendency for people to believe authority. So if the authority says it's nothing but contrails, then that's it. That's the end of it. Or if authority doesn't bring it to their attention and say there's something wrong, then they say, well, there's nothing wrong. And as you know, Alex, there's a big move now for prestigious scientific groups to try and convince people that these are nothing but contrails. Like NASA has come out fairly recently with on their website. You can go there, anybody, and click on it, and they'll explain to you in detail how all of these streaks of smoke and everything, and nothing but ice crystals. And the reason that we're seeing more of it now than before, they say, is because there's more air traffic now than before.
Let's talk about that when we come back, and then get into the aluminum in the soil and what that means to plants, and what Monsanto's up to. The film covers with devastating accuracy. And then we'll show that next to the admissions of giving people syphilis in Guatemala. This is all part of a larger program. G. Edward Griffin is our guest. I'm Alex Jones. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that it could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Are you fed up with government of, by, and for the banksters and gangsters? Are you ready for a patriotic newspaper that pulls no punches, that tells it the way it is about the forces that have taken over and are destroying the United States from within? The Nationalist Times has been informing and educating Americans every month since 1985. The Nationalist Times features outstanding writers and columnists who promote a common sense, intelligent, and passionate alternative to the reigning cultural Marxist party line. If you believe it's far past time to get America back on track, you need to be reading America's best political publication. Find out why the Nationalist Times has many thousands of loyal readers. Subscribe to the Nationalist Times for the special introductory rate of just $29 for 1 year. Subscribe today by sending $29 to the Nationalist Times, 10161 Park Run Drive, Suite 150, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89145. That's $29 for 1 year to the Nationalist Times, 10161 Park Run Drive, Suite 150, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89145.
9 years, thousands of clients worldwide, amazing results. And here's more proof of the effectiveness of how Heart and Body Extract supports good circulation and healthy arterial flow.
My name is Crystal. I'm a 45-year-old and live in Houston, Texas. I was diagnosed with having mitral valve prolapse 10 years ago. My cardiologist said surgery and drugs was the only thing he could offer me.
What did Crystal do?
I ordered Heart and Body Extract in August 2006. When I first took my first 15 drops, I embraced the formula and could even feel the goodness of the formula starting to work.
Clean, clear arteries are happy arteries after using Heart and Body Extract. Learn more at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. HB Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
I was sitting in traffic, listening to the radio. George Strait was singing Seashores of Old Mexico. It sounded so good, I got an idea.
We are back live with G. Edward Griffin, and we have Michael J. Murphy, one of the other producers and directors. He's a journalist, political activist from Los Angeles area, and he's put out this great film, What in the World Are They Spraying?, available at Infowars.com. It'll be premiering in Atlanta on the 22nd. G. Edward Griffin will be there, and we'll give you a website coming up the next hour so you can get tickets to that and attend that. Side issue, I'm speaking at the Coconut Grove in Santa Cruz on the 24th of October. It seats 800. They've sold almost 700 tickets with me plugging it twice. That's what I keep telling people. I don't do speaking events, folks, very often because I don't have the time. Though we could reach a lot of people, make local news, do all that, should I do 5 or 6 radio interviews a day and make films and reach tens of millions, or should I fly around giving speeches? But because I'm already out in California in a secret investigation, I'll just leave it at that, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone because the great folks out there at that station have done this. In fact, we'll put up their website on screen. And now I'm talking to MZ, who owns the 2 stations I'm on. It covers San Francisco, you name it, big stations. We really appreciate him. That's the main reason I'm going. He's now wanting me to come in on Saturday and speak to 1,500. And that'll probably sell out in 4 or 5 days. I mean, I think to really show up Glenn Beck, who couldn't get 700, just to show people the real power of this show and the real Patriot movement, maybe we should have an event in D.C. in 6 months and have 500,000 there. I mean, I don't think people understand, folks, the amount of people we're reaching. When I say we're reaching 1 million live on the show, over 1 million after when it rebroadcast, I mean, at current growth rates, it'll be 3 million a day in a couple months. I'm not bragging. It's actually very daunting to have this responsibility on me. But shifting gears before we get back into the chemtrails, Griffin, you've talked about this. I mean, what's your breakdown of the level of the explosive awakening we're seeing? And the globalists are openly saying they want to start censoring the web now.
Well, I think you've pretty well covered it. It is explosive. It's exponential. And on this issue of geo-engineering or chemtrails, whatever you want to call it, it was already such of massive proportions that I didn't realize it. I thought, from my personal experience, that we'd have a hard row to hoe there in the beginning, getting people interested in it. And I think, as I mentioned before, when I put it up on our little website, which doesn't have anywhere near the exposure as yours, I said, well, we're interested in doing a video. Anybody want to help us? Why, we were inundated with responses, immediate responses. I mean, within 2 days, we had this whole thing done from all over the world. People were, contacting us from all of the, basically, the NATO countries where they have all the spraying going on. So, yeah, it started off with such an explosion that I couldn't believe it, and it's gotten even more so. I got a phone call just before the show here from a fellow in Toronto. There's a bookstore there. He says, we want to do a screening. Is that okay? I said, okay, of course it's okay. We're delighted. And so people are just volunteering to do the kinds of things that in the past we used to have to promote, We'd have to go out and say, will you do this and will you do that? And we want to promote this. And now they're coming to us and saying, how can we help? So we've really touched a nerve here. And I think you're right, Alex. If you want to go on the road or put something to show just for the media purposes, just show the massiveness of this movement, I think it probably would work out exactly as you said.
It's incredible. We're going to come back and get into human experimentation just to show, they don't care if aluminum hurts you. They don't care. This is part of their larger plan. They call it killing more than 2 birds with 1 stone. Don't forget, we're making this search term #1 today, you the listeners, and it is huge explosions. That will lead them to the new videos released by NIST of firefighters saying bombs in the buildings.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.